So let's start with the law. Let's bring in constitutional legal expert, one of Trump's former attorneys, Alan Dershowitz. Professor, thank you very much. Am I wrong to say that while the 14th Amendment Section 3 is a provocative piece of language, that legally this is not a surprising decision?
Not at all. I predicted it months ago. I wrote articles about it. I put it in my book, Get Trump. It's the easiest case possible because the framers said that Congress has the power to implement this. If you're going to prevent somebody from running for president, you need to know what the rules are. Who has the burden of proof? Is it a jury trial? Does he have to be convicted of a crime? We don't know any of those things from the words of the 14th Amendment. That's up to Congress. And so the decision was a no-brainer, even though Professor Tribe and Judge Lutek and Keith Olbermann have gone. Olbermann wants to dissolve the Supreme Court. Tribe thinks this is a terrible anti-democratic decision to allow somebody to run for office.
Well,
you're absolutely an easy case.
At least we now know that a bipartisan issue, one of the few areas of agreement, is that if you don't like the outcome of a government institution, you can say the institution stinks, because now the left is saying exactly what the right has been saying about the DOJ, and only on the basis of advantage. But let me push back on one thing. This section was designed as the aftermath from the Civil War, and that's why it's as vague as it is, and that's why there's the weird provision in it that Congress can heal, basically, or cure any feelings about you and your past with a two-thirds, a supermajority vote. All that being said, on the plain face of the language, why doesn't Trump qualify for someone who participated in a rebellion or insurrection against the government for what happened on January 6th?
He might, if there were a process for determining it. If he had due process, if he could have a jury trial, if he could contest it, and if he were found against him, if a process were established by Congress and according to the three concurring justices, maybe also by other institutions. But you can't just have a Secretary of State say, I think I'm going to take him off the ballot. Or you can't have a single judge in Illinois saying I'm taking him off the ballot. And you can't have 51 different determinations. That's what the court was unanimous. And so there has to be a process. Look, this is not designed to circumvent the 25th Amendment or to circumvent the impeachment clause. This is one of the most serious things you can do in an election. Deprive the citizens of the right to vote for somebody. There has to be a stringent process, like the kind that for impeachment, justice has to preside. There has to be this vote, that vote. You have to have that. 14th Amendment doesn't provide for that, so it's intended for Congress to implement it.
I think it would have been a different story had he been charged with insurrection, if there had been a trial, but none of that existed. Professor Dershowitz, thank you on this one. It was a little bit of a layup for you, but it means more when it comes from you. So thank you very much for weighing in tonight. I appreciate it. Let's turn to the politics, which was much too messy business to trouble Professor Dershowitz with. So let me bring in the New Hampshire governor, Chris Sununu, and Democratic strategist James Carville. Gov, thank you very much. Jimmy, as always, appreciate you. Let me just ask Carville a little bit of housekeeping with the Democrats first. Shouldn't you kind of, James, be happy about this decision in as much as, did you really want your party to have to carry this baggage of having used the courts, even though I don't think that's a fair interpretation, by the way, but it would have been perceived that way. Isn't it better this way, that if you beat Trump, you just beat him at the ballot box?
Yes. But understand, we're glossing over the fact that the Colorado Supreme Court wrote a lengthy and, in the opinion of some people, a highly reasoned opinion why he shouldn't be on the ballot. But it's not enough in the Supreme Court has spoken. I think it's the correct political defer to legal interpretation of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, to other more knowledgeable people. But I think the politics, I think the court got the politics right, 9-0. It just wouldn't have gone down well if you'd kept the guy off the ballot at all.
Now, in terms of the state of play, Governor Sununu, tomorrow is Super Tuesday, big deal. Nikki Haley has to do what to stay in the race after tomorrow? Does she need to win a state that matters? What is the measure for what she needs to do?
Well, there's not a specific number. I think the way she puts it is the right way. She's got to show that she's competitive, without a doubt. I think You got to have some wins in there. I think that would be great. That would help build momentum and give, I think, the donor base, I think, a lot of confidence in moving forward. And like any campaign, after Super Tuesday, they're going to sit down and re-strategize and say, okay, what's the next move? What are the next states? What are the demographics? What are the rules in those states? So there's a lot to really go into that. But in terms of, you know, an actual number, how many does she need to win and all that, is just showing a competitiveness and challenging Trump at every point. The most important thing is that the voters are going to decide, right? Everybody wanted to call this a while ago.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
But that's my point, Gov. They are going to decide. And what do you mean competitive? It's a two-person race. One person finishes first, the other person goes home. Nikki Haley doesn't have any events scheduled after Tuesday. If she doesn't win a bunch of states, what is the case that it's competitive after that? He's going to be like two-thirds of the way to all of the delegates. At what point is this vanity?
No, well, it's definitely not vanity. I'll tell you that. I mean, Nikki just worked so hard. God bless her. She's putting everything out there. She doesn't have, you know, a lot of the folks that want to support her are too afraid to get behind her. A lot of the folks that are behind Trump don't really like Trump. And so it's this bizarre year, and she's making sure that the voters have it. So to your point, I think you got to be competitive. If she's within a dozen states and she's within 5 points in a dozen states, well, that's clearly competitive. That shows momentum. That shows a lot of opportunity that's building.
Yeah, but you got to win.
And that's going to allow the resources to come in.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.